Permission to boop.
Sure thing, sharp teeth paddle doggo.
Okay, good, because that's relevant, because today's got whales in it.
Whales? Ooh, should we sing?
Like whale song? You go,
oh, that kind of whales.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What whales were you thinking of?
I thought you meant the roaming the valley terrifying people with their close harmony singing whales.
That could be quite cool. Like Ninja Barbershop Quartet.
Yeah.
Kind of singing.
Especially if it's made up of sharks.
Oh, I've lost it now.
Did you have something serious in mind? No, well, I say serious.
Not anymore.
Is that cake? Is there cake? Awesome.
There's cake. There's cake because today is a slightly more detailed and in-depth discussion. So I thought we could fortify ourselves with cake.
Sounds good. Excuse me while I fortify.
I thought you might. So the first thing we ought to say, now we've had that slight diversion into Wales and ninja singing shark barbers shop quartets, is we ought to say welcome to FrithCast episode 12.
Shall I say that then?
Yes.
Welcome to FrithCast episode 12.
That was lovely.
Thank you, I thought so. Did you like the arms?
I did.
Yeah,
they were very good, kind of ta-da!
Ta-da!
Arms. Very nice.
I'll do jazz hands later.
Really?
Depending on what we sing.
Ooh. I don't know whether I can sing anything in Welsh.
We might want to finish on a spectacular
song and dance number musical.
Yeah. And finish off with doo-doo, with jazz hands like that. Doo-doo.
Okay. Doo-doo. Okay. How about we cue the music and we talk to them in a bit?
It's time to play the music.
It's time to light the lights.
It's time to raise the curtain
on the Mopey joke tonight. Dum dum dum. So welcome to FrithCast episode 12.
Hello.
Hello. We probably ought to introduce ourselves like we do every episode. I'm Suzanne. I'm the UK ambassador for TAC, T-A-C.
Which is?
The Asatru community. I can do that now. I haven't lost my voice and it's never getting old.
Indeed. Apparently, it is actually. Anyway, I'm Kate. And
well recovered.
Thank you. And I'm not an ambassador for TAC. I'm just a passing idiot.
You are not.
I'm a flannelled fool.
You live here.
I am.
Therefore you can't passing anywhere. You're actually staying.
I mean, I'm not kind of coming in and saying.
Do not get me into the idiot thing.
You know,
that doesn't work.
This is like my podcast and I'm in charge now. I'm not saying that. I'm just. I just.
I'll shush then.
No.
And you can...
I'm just saying I sort of pass by, and throw a few things in here and there, and then I just disappear again.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Carry on.
Where were we?
Wales?
That's not a whale. It sounds more like a sort of incapacitated goat with... No, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
It's a bad idea. It needs to be a little bit more majestic than that, but I'm obviously not in majestic mode right now. I'm in completely daft mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not working. Never mind.
I've never been very good at majestic, for what it's worth.
We thought for the 12th episode of FrithCast, you've just dropped that all over the phone. There's
right.
Crumbs on it now.
It'll be authentic sound effects.
Okay.
Was there something you wanted to say?
I was trying to.
She'll be back in a minute.
Oh, well. But not just yet. We thought for the 12th episode of FrithCast, we'd have a chat about the land spirits.
Okay.
So they're for me, one of the three sort of big things in heathenism. Mm. There's the spirits of the land, the spirits of place, there's the ancestors, and there's the gods. Okay. And these are three things that figure fairly heavily in the way that I practice. Hmm. So I thought we'd have a chat about the land spirits and a couple of examples from the sagas, a little bit of a zoom around Ibn Fadlan again because Antonio Banderas, and
Absolutely.
happy with that, and a recent example about land spirits. Did you just bang your elbow?
Yeah. I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
It was the face.
I thought I could get through that without
pulling a really, really funny face.
Yeah. Take two.
Take two. Paracetamol and call me for morning.
Just tell me about Ibn Fadlan.
Okay. Well, the spirits of the land, they're kind of a little bit of a difficult thing to define because unlike the gods, they don't tend to have individual names and relationships between them because they stay in the land itself rather than where the people travel to. So whereas the Vikings and the medieval Scandinavian peoples would take their gods with them, they would encounter a different set of land spirits when they got there. They wouldn't take the land spirits physically with them when they travelled, because the land spirits surprisingly are connected to the land.
That makes sense.
Yeah, nice and easy. And they are, for me, they are connected to the safety of the land, the fertility of the land, the security of the land. Human beings and people kind of work in harmony with that rather than trying to take it over or kick them out or do anything else. You kind of work with them.
That being the ideal.
That being the ideal
Although
is to,
like a healthy territory.
To acknowledge them and to talk to them and work alongside them to steward the land that you might either have legal ownership of, or you might have just a little patch of, or you might have a piece of woodland fairly nearby, or a tree or a park that you help curate. You might just pick up litter, or you might just walk there and check that everything's okay.
Yeah.
And that can be part of it. So the land spirits can be quite powerful. They can inhabit natural places in the landscape. They might inhabit waterfalls, rocks, trees, meadow, parkland, grass, any of these things. And some folks will sort of say, well, every piece of nature has its own little spirit. So you might have the spirit of a river and you might have the spirit of the sea. Animism. So you might have the spirit of a tree, or you might have the spirit of a stream that then joins the spirit of a river later on down the course.
Okay.
Some folks will understand that only specific places hold a spirit. So a particularly beautiful waterfall or a particularly notable tree will have a spirit where they may not sense one elsewhere. They'll have that particular place that they will go, or they will place offerings, or they will pray in that particular spot.
Okay.
However you connect to the spirits of the land, it's worth doing. And, I'm going to go through a couple of examples of how the land spirits have interacted with people. The first one is from the sagas. The spirits of the land are generally things that you can't see, but in this particular example, they are very much things you can see. In the saga of Olaf Tryggvason, King Harold of Denmark thinks it's a brilliant idea to spy on Iceland.
Okay.
Well, he goes in the spirit of a whale to go and view Iceland from Denmark, and he finds it defended by Icelandic land spirits.
All right.
Fairly big ones. He's chased off by a dragon. He then tries to land again and see if he can spy a bit more, and he's chased off by an eagle.
Yeah.
He then tries a bit further around the coast, and he's chased off by a bull.
A bull?
Yeah. And then he tries a bit further around the coast in the last quarter, and he's chased off by a giant.
Okay.
And if you look at the national coinage of Iceland, it's quartered on one side, and those four things, the dragon, the eagle, the bull, and the giant, are in the four quarters of the coinage now.
Really?
Yeah. They're the land spirits from a saga.
Awesome.
And that's where they come from.
I'll have to look that up.
So the national land spirits for the four quarters of Iceland chased the spirit whale of a king away to protect Iceland. So all those 4 are still
And ended up on the
on the
coins.
coinage now.
That's brilliant.
If we go back to Ibn Fadlan, because Antonio Banderas.
Indeed.
No, not really, but hey, it's all good.
But yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay. He sees the Rus leaving offerings outside overnight for the land spirits. And he notes in his account, which is, it's got a couple of problems, but we talked about it when we were looking at Beowulf a few episodes back.
Yeah.
He says that they left offerings outside overnight on the ground for the spirits of the land, and the dogs came and ate them.
Well,
And he was like, but your dogs came and ate them, and the traders tell him that this means that the offerings have been accepted because they've been taken. So they're quite happy that the dogs have come and eaten them.
that makes sense.
There are a few instances in the sagas of where they try and get the spirits to leave a particular area of land. And there's a very, very specific way of doing it. And if you scare or frighten the spirits away from a particular area of land, that area becomes a not good place, basically. It becomes a neutral place. Instead of having good spirits that look after it and inhabit it and keep the balances, you take that balance away and you erase it, or you're forcing those spirits to leave.
Okay.
It leaves that area as a vacuum that other things might come in.
So, I mean, the effect of that would be what your crops wouldn't grow, that sort of thing.
Yes, yeah, or you might have right up to the people not having good fortune.
Okay.
Your animals die, your crops don't grow, the land doesn't like you, basically. And there is an example in Eagle's saga of them setting up a Nithstang, which is a cursing pole.
Okay.
And this is done to scare the spirits away from that particular piece of land. Certainly the land spirits, as far as I know of them, as a collective, are benevolent.
Okay.
But they're not instantly benevolent. They'll not sort of take you moving into a new house and you're going, oh, hi, and them going, hey, that's great, come and have a load of good stuff. New people, isn't it wonderful? You might find them quite resentful to start with.
Okay.
Especially if you're claiming land back from the wild to cultivate.
Yeah.
So
I suppose if they've had it all to themselves for a while,
yeah,
it might be. They might not be too happy about having to suddenly share it again.
Yes, yeah, they might not. And if you're kind of thinking, well, I get on with the spirits in my place, then think about what your house is made from. If it's made from clay and wood and slate, there are spirits in those things that were in the ground and growing or being connected to the earth in different ways before somebody took them out and shaped them and created your house from them. So there are,
Can we buy a big tent?
Now?
Well, yeah.
So it's, yes, there are spirits in your garden and your yard and your park and the beach nearby to you or the standing stones or the trees, but there are also spirits that create your house, that were older, that are now encasing you inside a house.
Yeah. I mean, it's logical when you think about it. It's
So if you have wood inside your house, that wood was once a tree which held a spirit.
looks sidelong at table.
Looks sidelong at table. Nice table. We like you.
Very nice table.
Hello, table.
Sorry, table.
So yeah, for me, there are land spirits. Yes, they are outside and in the wilds. So if you and I go walking, they will be out there in the wilds, in visibility there. But they're also here as well.
Okay.
And
here. It would make sense to me that, they would be... Because, I tend to be a little bit on the animistic side myself. But probably not within the same sort of cultural framework. And I've always sort of taken it that, in the sense of the spirits of things.
Spirits of place. So, genus...
In Roman, genius loci.
Yes, spirits of place. Yes.
Or genii loci in plural. But I have always taken it that they exist in in all parts of the world. So, you know, they exist in the seas and the rivers and the trees and the forests and that sort of thing. But also in the fields that have been dug over and ploughed and made into fields, and also in the cities that we've built on, and we've created these great big sort of glass and electrical structures.
Okay, so you have land spirits in glass and electricity and spirits of concrete. Yeah, I suppose you could look at it that way. Yeah.
Electricity, certainly. It's an energy of the
living
of the universe,
thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Like that. The Vikings and the sagas take great pains to look after the spirits in the land. There is even an understanding that on a Viking ship which has a dragon-headed prow, the mouth is always gaping open and it has like big crunchy teeth.
I have seen these.
So what they would do when they were approaching an enemy's shoreline would be to put the dragon prow on to frighten the spirits of the land.
That's what that's
approached. And as they approached their own home port, they would take the prow off and hide it or cover it, so they didn't scare their own spirits away. They would look to scare away spirits of people that they were going to raid.
They were in opposition to.
Yeah.
I knew they swapped them around.
They did. Yeah, they were built to be taken off.
Yeah, and I took it that I think somebody must have told me years ago that they put the dragon on for when they were raiding because it was fear factor. But it didn't occur to me that it wasn't the people that it was supposed to frighten.
Yes. I would guess it frightened the people as well.
I imagine it would, but I mean...
But it's also meant to frighten the spirits of the beach and the land that they land into.
Yeah.
To start causing that out of balanceness.
Yeah.
In the lands that they go to.
It puts a new layer on it, if you see what I mean.
A little bit of a new layer.
Yeah.
So the last example I'd like to look through today is Keflavik.
Keflavik. Now, I know Keflavik as a NATO airbase.
You will know, yes, in Iceland.
Which helped to cover what they called the GI-UK gap during the Cold War, which is Greenland, Iceland and the UK.
Yes.
Which was a strategic choke point to catch Soviet ships and submarines coming out of the north of Russia.
Because you might think that land spirits are something that's only mentioned in the sagas, and they don't have a whole lot of run through to the modern day. But in the 1940s, Keflavik Air Base was being built.
Okay.
Keflavik Air Base is in Iceland?
It is. Southwest Iceland.
Southwest Iceland.
It's just south of Reykjavik.
Just south of Reykjavik.
And along a bit.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Turn left at Albuquerque. Okay. And the Icelandic foreman that was there, overseeing the building work, dreamed of a woman who asked him not to move a particular boulder until her family of land spirits and her had been given the opportunity to move out.
Oh, wow.
So they didn't. So he stalled the construction of the airbase for quite some time, waiting
I'm guessing
until all of her family were out, and she came to him in a second dream, like weeks or months later, and said, "Thank you very much, we're all out, you can move it now." And she was a land spirit.
Okay.
And she and her family lived in that particular boulder.
And presumably he explained this to the Americans, did he?
I don't think he did till afterwards.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's certainly in Iceland. The understanding that there are spirits in the land or in certain features of the land is very much a modern understanding.
Yeah.
A modern feature. I mean, this was the 1940s. It's not that long ago.
Even, as you say, not that long.
Not hugely long ago. So, as per usual, we'll put some links in the description. So you can go and explore land spirits to yourself.
Indeed.
And find out. Maybe, even if it's just take a walk in nature, even if it's get a pot plant for your windowsill, there are ways that you can connect with the spirits of the land, wherever you are in the world.
Yeah.
Even if it's go out and just sit. But it can also be you're able to go on a walk. If you've got dogs, go and walk your dogs outside and just go and be with nature and say thank you to the spirits of the land, or say hello to them, or acknowledge them as neighbours. You know, saying hi to your neighbours is always a civilised thing.
True enough.
And if you go somewhere and you're not sure of the local spirits that are there, just say hello.
Mm.
And I tend to use a very simple sentence. If I don't know what spirits are there, and if I go to a beach on a day out and I just want to sit for a minute and just settle on the sand for a couple of minutes and then go on my walk, or, find my fish and chips, because fish and chips.
Of course, yes.
Then I might say something like, "Hail to you, spirits of this place. I sit here and think of you and honour you in the way you deserve to be honoured."
Mm.
And that is, for me, a greeting to say, you are in this place and I'm passing through, and I respect this place that you have, and I respect all of you, all of the spirits that are here.
You're just letting them know that you acknowledge them.
And sometimes that can be a good start. It doesn't have to be hugely complicated, it doesn't have to be hugely fancy.
Mm.
You could just leave an offering of, I tend to leave seeds and milk for the land spirits in ritual, or seeds and water, because that's something the spirits can use.
Yes, that's true.
And if the birds come and take the seeds, then that's like the dogs coming and taking the offerings from the roost.
Mm.
It means that it's been accepted and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yes, I like it. Yep.
So I think we'll leave it there for today.
Okie dokie.
We've had a natter about land spirits. We'll put all the links in the description like we usually do, so you can go have a hunt round for yourself. It's all good.
Yeah.
So if you would like to find me online, I'm Suzanne Martin. I'm the UK ambassador for TAC. You can find me on Facebook as Suzanne Martin, or on Twitter as Suzanne TAC, TAC.
And if you want to find me, I am available on Facebook or Twitter or Google+, and probably the best way to find me is to search on Facebook for Kate Coldwind. You'll find an account called Kate Martin. It's a long story, but that's me, and you should link to my Twitter and other profiles from there.
Yeah. So we will leave it there, and we will talk to you all next time.
Bye-bye. Why am I waving?
I don't know why you're
Why
waving.
am I waving to
They
the camera?
can't see you waving.
The camera, in any case, the camera's pointing straight up at the ceiling. It's not switched on, unless GCHQ have switched it on.
Hello.
Hope you're having a nice shift. And it's microphone anyway. It's just a natural impulse when you're saying bye-bye.
You wave.
Bye-bye.
She's waving. You can't see it, but she is.
Bye-bye.
Copyright. You were going to sing in Welsh anyway.
No, I wasn't going to sing in Welsh.
No?
I can't sing in Welsh. I can't do anything in Welsh.
Can you sing?
I hadn't thought about singing. I just made the reference to Wales as a throwaway thing, that's all.
Not that we're going to throw Wales away, because we'll overbalance.
True.
Fall off.
Throw the whale out with the bathwater.
Yeah. You detach Wales from the UK and all of Yorkshire will be underwater. It'll be no good. It'll all tip back the other way.
Awkward.
Slightly awkward. So next episode, it's going to be episode 13.
13!
13! Not sure what we're going to talk about yet, but there will probably be a lot of references to 13!
13! Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Who was it? What legion was it?
13th.
I know it was the 13th, but I can't remember what the name of it was.
What legion was the 13th?
I know the 13th legion was the 13th legion. I'm asking about the name. It's like...
Fred.
All right, Hispania then, the 9th legion. Who didn't really disappear, but everybody thinks they did.
Why didn't they do that? I thought they were in Damnatio.
They were for a while.
They came out.
Well, they got reformed.
They stopped being Damnatio.
I seem to recall. I mean, they did do Damnatio for some legions, yes. The 9th did fairly badly in it. Basically, what happens is they got eventually disappeared. In that they got taken apart and bits sent.
Was that
here and bits sent
Teutoburg?
there. Oh no, that was there was about 3 legions at Teutoburg.
Was it the 9th at Teutoburg?
No.
Which was it then?
Oh God, now you're asking me.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I remember Augustus saying, "Varus, give me back my legions."
Well, you would, wouldn't you, really?
Because he'd had them taken apart.
Yeah.
Defeated in detail, I believe, was the
Ouch.
is the military term that's used.
As in, soundly rumbled.
If you imagine basically how it worked was, if you imagine one of those great big drum-shaped industrial shredders.
Yes.
And now imagine, like
Roman legion going into
twigs and branches and stuff being fed into the shredder.
Yeah.
It was basically like that.
Ouch. That's going to take more than a mop and bucket afterwards.
The barbarians, I do apologise, considering the audience that we're recording for.
Thank you very much, yes.
The noble...
Savages?
Heroic
You might as well say...
The noble, heroic people of Northern Europe.
Well done. Nicely recovered.
Thank you, I thought so. Were lying treacherously in... I mean, we're lying... We're
fortuitous in their battle plans.
Yes, they had effectively fortified the forest.
Yeah, because you can do that.
Hang on.
To the trees!
Effectively fortified the forest. Yes, I can do that. And when the noble and hero, I mean the evil and insidious Romans arrived, marched into the forest.
And did not march out again.
But of course they were trained for open field warfare.
Yes.
So legionary tactics.
Close quarter infantry fighting.
Yes. With lots of room to manoeuvre and stuff like that. And create lines and all that.
Which
and of
you
course
can't do when there's Ents in the way.
That's right. You can't do it. So they got dropped upon by the...
and re-educated.
And re-educated in detail. Yes, it was a bad job. I mean, obviously it was a great job. It was a job.
It was.
Yes, and it stopped the Romans getting across the river and into Germania.
It did. It was kind of, this far and no further, really.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
The line must be drawn here. This far and no further.
Andedion udium indion vesur adium bon arueatim bon arueati lopites nienis sos brichte da.
And so on.
Locleophoro, Necrium Afario, Ebelio Patolin, Claudio Pohitomo, Claudio Perlin, Nacriamatori, Nasiare, Haneferilin. Locleophoro, Ebirafar. I can't either. It's alright. It's all good. Because we just fade it out there and leave them spooked as all hell.